In all the versions that you've seen, have you seen anything that's been like interesting or stood out? Or
any different versions that I've seen? Anything that's been unusual and stood out?
Yeah.
Well, there's always interesting there. Angel's death and how he/she listens to or doesn't, or whatever the response to the eulogies. That's always really interesting. There was in Argentina there was a big window that was sort of inspired by the big window in the set of the movie, and Angel wound up in the window in silhouette in that moment. I thought that was kind of nice, nice moment, pretty. They also did a thing where there were more people dancing the tango, sort of like in the movie. I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's just interesting, to have known the version I've known all these years. Yeah, I mean, it's always also of interest to me, like how much or how little there is of the other people observing. Like tonight, I thought there was really nice moments when the people are observing what's happening in the room. To me, the play is so much about community. So when you have that feeling of everybody being affected by everything else that's going on, I think that's really helpful to telling the story. Things like that. Yeah, I mean, most people have done the line of Seasons of Love, and I do think that's probably the best way that can be done. But there have been other versions that have been slightly different. But I kind of prefer that one. I think it's okay to do the iconic thing. It's a moment that's not a story moment. It's a moment of the people who tell the story sharing something with you, and it's simple. And why not make it as simple as possible? I think. But so I'm glad for that.
Let's do a couple more.
A couple more.
So on that note, what did you then think of the other part?
The other Mark?
Yeah.
Well, I actually got to tell him this in person because he was the one who escorted me backstage, that I was very, very, very happy and proud, and that's not always the case. There have been times that I wanted to dropkick Marks. I'm serious. There have been times I'm like, what are you doing? Because to me, one of the things that's so important, like how do you have the sense that Mark should be the one telling the story? And I never had that question in my head ever. That I always felt like I was in the good hands of somebody for whom this mattered, and that he had the authority to talk about it and take us through it. And that alone, as the beginning, was like, okay, great, thank you. And then the rest was fantastic too. So really, 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 that's so important. Thank you. So yeah. It's true. He like ran away after he asked that. He was like, I'm going to put you all on the spot and then I'm going to run away. Did you have a final question and then we can sing Happy Birthday?
Yeah.
When considering everything that you have done in your past with acting and such, what would be your strongest bit of advice to anyone in a young audience wanting to go into music performance?
That was so articulately stated. I assume it was projected well too, and everybody could hear the question. Anybody not hear the question? She was asking me what's my best piece of advice for somebody who's going to pursue musical theater training. Am I paraphrasing enough?
Instrumental, most likely.
Oh, instrumental. Oh, well.
Or any.
But it's really, I mean, it's all the same, really. What I would say is, if at all possible, get a kind of training that doesn't just teach you the technical aspects, which are certainly important, and certainly as an instrumentalist, you need to know where to put your fingers, and or whatever it is that well, everybody has to use their fingers when they're playing instruments. Actors need to know where to put their fingers too, believe me. But it's not just the technical, but that you also have people that are there to help you grow as a person, to help your spirit grow, help your mind expand, to help you, introduce you to all kinds of work that will continue to inspire you and not limit you. Of course, you have to know what there's this other piece of it from a practical business standpoint. You should know what you do well so you can pursue that and not, if you're, a 4'10" blonde girl, you shouldn't play Effie and Dreamgirls. You know what I mean? It's just probably not. But all things being equal, you know what I mean? So, not to say, you could certainly sing that song in class, though. Why not? Have a chance to take on that role in class. So it's not, be aware of what you do well and foster that, but also just, grow and have people around you. There are some teachers in various artistic fields that think it's important to break you down and to build you back up. And yes, sometimes you do need to break down certain walls and you need to like have your ass kicked every once in a while. But to me, a good teacher would never break your spirit. They would always foster your development as a human being as well as an artist. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. Seek out that kind of training. You're welcome. Everywhere I turn, there's applause. I should come to Cedar Rapids more often.
Shut it!
Leslie with a soft S? Leslie? Leslie, not Leslie, Leslie.
Yeah, you're Leslie. Okay,
Leslie.
ready?
Ready?
Everybody?
Happy birthday.